What's up guys, Justin here with thecgessentials.com, back with another Blender new version video for you today. So yesterday was a really exciting day because the newest version of Blender, version 2.83, was released. Well, in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the new features contained in here, and then we may go through in some future videos and talk about some of the features in more depth. There's so much in this new release that I can't really get super in depth on any of it just because there's so much and I want to get it all covered, but just be aware that we will get more in depth on some of the features in future videos. But let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so first things first, if you want to download Blender 2.83, you can find it by going to blender.org and clicking on the button for Download Blender 2.83. And so what that'll do is that'll take you to the page where you can download the installer. So one thing to note is you can come in here and you can click on this button right here to get a detailed list of all of the different features that's inside of Blender 2.83. And so I think this page is kind of a good roadmap of exactly what's contained in this so that you can kind of go through and figure out what you want to check out more of. And so there's a video in here that'll showcase all of the features. What I really want to take a look at is some of the sections down below that talk about exactly what's been added in this new release. So one of the cool things about this is Blender 2.83 is a part of the long-term support program, and what that means is that even as new versions are coming out, they're going to be supporting this version long-term over the next 2 years, meaning that even though they're coming out with new versions, you can stick with this version if you want to for the next 2 years and know that it's going to be supported from a software and fix standpoint. So that's one of the cool things about the Blender long-term roadmap, which we can talk about a little bit more in another video. But note that this is going to be supported long-term, and so there's a ton of new features contained inside of the new version of Blender, and so let's go through and let's take a look at some of them. So the first feature is Blender now supports the import of OpenVDB files, and so these files are files that basically render volumes. And so what this does is this supports those files, and what's really cool is that gives us a link to programs like Houdini, which are really great for creating effects. So you can use this in order to import those files and render them inside of Blender. And note that most of these sections have a little video in here that you can watch so you can see exactly what these do if you're not 100% sure what any of this means. So we also now have the ability to walk around our scenes inside of virtual reality. I have not had a chance to test this, but one of the things I really like about using virtual reality on a scene like this is it's really good for giving you kind of a feel of scale of what's around you. So being able to actually step into a scene and walk around it is a completely different experience than looking at it on a computer screen. So excited to get more into this in the future, but this is really going to help us kind of visualize our scenes better in our minds and using Blender. One thing I do want to note before I go too much further, there's also in-depth information about each one of these. Let's see, it is in the Blender WIKI, which I will link to in the notes down below as well. But in particular, so if we go to the release notes, there's a 2.83 version in here that really gets more in-depth on each one of these. So the virtual reality, for example, it talks a little bit more, it gets a little bit more in-depth, and it talks about how you can actually do this. So if you're looking for more information about some of the new features and exactly how they work, I would recommend going to the Blender Wiki under the 2.83 release notes. So I will link to that in the notes below the video. Alright, so in addition, Cycles now supports denoising inside of your viewport. So we already know there's the denoising function that you can use inside of your actual renders, but now there's an actual viewport denoising that you can use in order to denoise your renders. So you can see that in this preview right here, the difference between the two results. You can see how this one on the left is really noisy. The one on the right uses that denoiser to make this look a lot better. Now, it's not really a catch, but the thing about this is you do need to have an RTX Nvidia card in order for this to work. So I believe those start at the 20 series. So I can't even demo this because I have a 1080 graphics card. It's a GTX, not an RTX. So just note that a lot of these new rendering functions are being built on top of that RTX technology. So really cool that you can denoise inside of the viewport. It makes everything look a lot better, and I think it's a lot faster as well. But you do need one of those more advanced cards in order to make this work. So in addition, we now have the ability to sculpt realistic looking cloth using the cloth brush in the sculpting tab. So for example, if we were to go into Blender under our sculpting tab, there's an option down here for your cloth tool that you can use in order to click and drag this. And what this is going to do, I'm going to add a subdivision surface modifier to make this smoother, maybe go to 2 here, but you can see how what this does is this is actually simulating realistic looking wrinkles. And so we can go into our settings down here and turn off our X symmetry. You can see how we can use this in order to quickly sculpt cloth, and the wrinkles look really good. It's using physics simulation in order to do that. So there's also, this has several different deformation modes, but one of the cool things about this is you can set this so that instead of having like a circular brush in here, so right now, this kind of like drags everything in here based on a circle. Well, you can go into your force fall off and you can adjust that to plane, and what that'll allow you to do is that'll allow you to apply a plane across the whole cloth instead. So not only can you do this in kind of a circular fashion, but you can take the whole cloth and kind of click and drag it down in order to sculpt that cloth. So it gives you the ability to create really realistic wrinkles and cloth in general inside of Blender. So in addition, they've also made a number of other changes to some of the sculpting brushes and other things built in. I'm not going to get too in-depth on these, but note that you can find this inside of the release notes that I'm going to link down below the video. So some of these improvements just they really make your sculpting and also just some of the results that you get a lot better in kind of subtle ways, but in ways that are also going to be really important if you do a lot of sculpting. And in addition, they've also given you the ability to create face sets. And so basically what face sets are going to do is they're going to allow you to take your sculpted objects and break them up almost by layers or almost by putting them in groups. So what that means is you can turn different things on and off so that you can sculpt just part of what you're working on without making changes to the rest. So that's really powerful because that means that you're not going to be picking up the wrong edges or vertices and moving those around. This allows you to really isolate the things you're actually trying to work on inside of sculpt mode. Alright, so in addition, they've gone through and they actually rewrote Grease Pencil from scratch. So that made it a whole lot faster, and it's got some different integrations and some other things in here, but just the fact that they went back and rewrote an entire tool for this release is just crazy to me. So there's now options in here for things like being able to adjust your vertex colors. So now you don't have to have just a single line or a single color for each line. What you can do instead is you can give each point its own color, which allows you to kind of highlight things, and it really kind of gives you a lot more flexibility when you're working with your colors inside of this new version. So I haven't done too much with Grease Pencil on the channel yet. It's definitely on my list, but there's just so much in Blender that we just haven't gotten there yet. If you are a Grease Pencil user though, I would say definitely go in here and check out the new features that are in here as well. So they've added some things like masking, where you can mask out different objects. So you can use this in order to mask like part of this object with another object. You can use this in order to do that. So there's some kind of crazy effects you can create with that. So they've also made some improvements to the effects that you can apply to these Grease Pencil objects, as well as line smoothing. So the line smoothing is pretty cool because previously what would happen is you'd draw something inside of a space and you get kind of these like blocky curves, right? Like you could see that this is a curve that goes from one point to another point to another point to another point. Well, they've kind of rewritten that, so now this kind of automatically smooths those curves. So you can see how on this left hand side over here this is really rough. Well, these are really smooth. So what that gives you the ability to do is create much smoother objects that don't have these jagged edges on them. So in addition, the frame rates are now 2 times higher, especially with larger pieces in here. So they really came back and upgraded the engine more than just some of the features. So there's a ton of other features in here as well. You can find more information about that on the Blender wiki page, which I'm going to link to in the notes down below. So in addition, they've also made some changes to Eevee. So you can find more information about this in the 2.83 release notes, but basically what they've done is they've given us the ability to render with individual passes now inside of Eevee. So you can see how there's render passes. This is the list of render passes that are supported for Eevee now. So in addition, they've made some engine changes. So they've adjusted this so that the light caching works a little bit different. And so because of this, what that means is you don't get get visual artifacts in the same way that you did before. So that's kind of an engine update. They've also given you the ability, and this is never a tool that I've used, so I'm not really super familiar with it, but there's some different blending that can be used for hair transparency if you're rendering hair out as well. So some things have been adjusted with Eevee that, depending on what you're doing, you may or may not notice too much about them, but for very specialized things, they're going to be really important. And so they've also made a number of different adjustments as to some different shader nodes in here. So this one, for example, they've provided an actual example file that you can download. So you can click on this button right here and bring that in and kind of mess around with what some of the nodes do. So you can see how this allows us to take this volume and kind of rotate it around and adjust it along an axis like this. So you can use this in order to vector rotate your volumes in this situation. I don't know why it's coming out so blurry, but you can see how this gives us the ability to really kind of adjust the way that those volumes are rendered out. So there's a number of other tools in here as well. So like vector rotation tools, noise roughness tools, a lot of different things like that that are kind of specialized, and we can look into some uses for them, but just know that they have been improving the shader nodes in here as well to give you more options. So I think a lot of people are going to be happy to see the performance boosts. So for example, undo is now a lot faster in object impose mode. So the self collision in the cloth simulations is up to 5 times faster. So that's a lot faster than it was before. You could see that in the cloth that we were doing before. That was definitely very fast, especially for what it was doing. There have also been some performance upgrades for some of your simulations, so like fluid simulations as well. So there's also been improvements in multiple different modifiers in here. So none of these I don't believe are new tools, but they've all been improved with new features or things that are going to make them work a lot better. So they've also made changes to the video sequencer and kind of the way that that looks, including some additional toolbars on the right hand side, just kind of UI changes in general. I think this blade tool might be new as well. So if you're doing anything with actual video inside of Blender, they've improved the UI there as well. There's also a number of other options down below, or other improvements as well, that you can click on each one of these in order to see more about them. So it's always interesting to me covering one of these new version releases in Blender, just because there's so many different things that they improve. And if you're overwhelmed by all of this, don't worry about it. You don't need to know what every single one of these does or use every single one of these. But more to me, it's just kind of a cool thing that they're constantly improving Blender as an open source software and also as a free software, and they're making this available for free. So one thing I do want to point out is, even though Blender is a free tool, there are costs associated with developing it and working on it. And so if you like what they're doing, if you kind of scroll up to the top of the page, you can join the Blender Development Fund by clicking on the donate button right here, and you can support them monthly with a membership. You definitely don't have to do this. Blender is made available for free, and they're going to keep making it free. But if you want to support what's going on, you can do this for as little as $6 a month right here. So if that's something you're interested in, you like what they're doing with Blender, make sure you check out this page and think about maybe supporting them at least a little bit every month so they can keep this great development going. Alright, so that's where I'm going to end this video. Leave a comment below. Let me know what features you like about this. If you'd like to get into any more of these in depth, I just love having that conversation with you guys. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new Blender content every week. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.